Hi friends, welcome to this video. Today we're talking about Chanel Beauty. As a lot of you know, I'm a huge Chanel lover and I have some information that I wanted to share with you, discuss with you, and I wanted to share also some favorite Chanel makeup products because I think that Chanel are discontinuing their permanent eyeshadow collection. All of the eyeshadow palettes from the TWEED formula, I think, are going to be discontinued. Now, this is not confirmed information, but for the past few days, I saw that on Chanel's US website, all of the permanent eyeshadow palettes from Chanel have been listed as limited edition, which most probably means that they are going to discontinue them once they sell out. And some of the colors are already sold out. Now, I don't have official information from Chanel, but this has never happened before, them listing the eyeshadow palettes as limited edition, the eyeshadow palettes from the permanent collection. Now, these are eyeshadow palettes that I truly love and I have used so much over the years. These are eyeshadow palettes that I have been repurchasing over the years, time and time again. And in this video, I wanted to just give you a heads up about a possible change that is happening, because this is not news for me personally, because I knew that Chanel were planning to discontinue the TWEED formula eyeshadows and I was very unhappy about that. But since this didn't happen for the past couple of years, I thought that maybe they gave up on this decision and maybe they were not going to discontinue them. I was really happy enjoying them, the eyeshadow palettes. But right now I see that on Chanel's US website, all of the whole permanent eyeshadow collection from Chanel, all of the eyeshadows are listed as limited edition. And I see that some of the eyeshadow palettes in some European countries have been disappearing, some of the TWEED eyeshadow palettes, which gives me a reason to believe that maybe Chanel are finally going to discontinue the Chanel's, most of the Chanel's permanent makeup collection. In this video, I want to show you some of my all-time favorite Chanel eyeshadow palettes, some of the palettes that I have been repurchasing over the years, because let's say that eyeshadow palettes like TWEED Rivoli, TWEED Cambon, TWEED Camellia, TWEED Vendôme, these are my all-time favorites and I have been repurchasing them over the years time and time again. And this was a beautiful formula from Chanel. That was such a gorgeous, sophisticated formula, and it was hard to beat this formula because this formula of eyeshadows was quite unique to me. This is a formula without talc, and Chanel removed the talc from their eyeshadow palettes even before talc was a thing in the beauty industry. It recently, people started talking about talc in the beauty industry, but Chanel had this absolutely stunning formula that I have been using and enjoying for years. Let us know if you have some additional information. I even have one eyeshadow palette that I need to repurchase, and this is TWEED Camellia, which I was planning to repurchase, but I was not in a rush really. I'm going to go to my local Chanel counter right now to get my hands on this one. Now, I'm thinking that if they were reformulating them, they were not going to place them as limited edition. So for sure, putting them as and listing them as limited edition means that they are going to sell out and they are not going to be restocked anymore. So without further ado, I'm just going to switch the camera now so that I can show you all of my favorite Chanel eyeshadow palettes and the ones that I would recommend to you maybe to get right now before they are discontinued. I know that a lot of you are Chanel lovers just like myself. I know that a lot of you keep repurchasing the same eyeshadow palette. So if you want to restock something, I think that now is going to be a good time. Let's go ahead and take a look at my favorite Chanel eyeshadow palettes. I'm also going to link in the description box some videos of mine with Chanel eyeshadow palettes. I have so many videos dedicated to Chanel and so many videos where I use Chanel eyeshadows and Chanel makeup. So I'm just going to go ahead and link some of these videos in case you want to see how I use this eyeshadow palette. And if you are always wondering whether you should go ahead and purchase a Chanel eyeshadow palette, I think now is the right time to do so. Okay friends, so currently we have 15 eyeshadow palettes from Chanel that are listed as limited edition. Now, out of all of these 15 eyeshadow palettes, I have probably 5 eyeshadow palettes that I would like to keep in my collection and I keep repurchasing over the years, and I have been repurchasing over the years. So here we have the iconic Tissé Rivoli eyeshadow palette, which is my all-time favorite, and this is my most repurchased eyeshadow palette of all times. When I first started wearing eyeshadows, this was the first eyeshadow palette that I ordered. It was years ago, probably 10 years ago or so. I was not big on makeup in the past, and this was the first eyeshadow palette that actually started my love for makeup, and I have been repurchasing this one. It has been changed a little bit over the years. Like, let's say this color used to be a little bit more pinkish, a little bit more like rosy pink color. I would say a champagne pink color, but it's still as beautiful. And this is Tissé Rivoli. Then this one is Tissé Vendôme, again, one of my most repurchased Chanel eyeshadow palettes. I absolutely love the colors here, the color story, it's beautiful. And this one actually I repurchased last summer, if I'm not mistaken. You can see that it is a loved eyeshadow palette. It's a used eyeshadow palette. And let me go ahead and show you. So this one here is Tissé Vendôme and this one is Tissé Rivoli. Of course, I'm going to give you more close-ups in a minute. Then the next one that I wanted to recommend, and that has been my favorite for a very long time. This one is Tissé Cambon. Again, another eyeshadow palette that I keep repurchasing, which has a fun color story. And what I love about the Tissé formula. Let me just quickly show you. This is Tissé Cambon. So here we have Tissé Vendôme, Tissé Rivoli, and Tissé Cambon. And let me give you a good close-up of the palettes that I currently have. If you take a closer look at Chanel's website, the eyeshadow palettes that are listed as limited are not only the Tissé formula eyeshadows, but this is the whole permanent Les Quatre Ombres from Chanel that has been around for many years. Now these three in particular are my favorite, along with Tissé Camellia, which I just ordered because it was out of stock in one of my retailers and I'm waiting for it. Please follow me on Instagram as soon as it arrives. It's going to take probably a couple of days, 2-3 days. For this eyeshadow palette to arrive. I cannot tell because sometimes if I tell that something is going to arrive quickly, I always order with fast shipping whenever possible, but sometimes the products just don't arrive as expected. So please go ahead and follow me on Instagram. As soon as Tissé Camellia arrives, I'm going to post in my stories on Instagram swatches, close-up of the palette. I'm also going to post in the community tab of my YouTube channel. I may do a video as well if we have the time, but I think that these eyeshadow palettes are going to be sold out quite quickly. Now, Tissé Camellia is another eyeshadow palette that I absolutely love. It's one of the palettes that I keep repurchasing, and mine was very old. One of them, I hit the pan of one of the colors and I decluttered it. I was thinking to buy it, and I'm happy that I actually saw now that Chanel listed them as limited edition. So this was my push to actually go ahead and buy it. And then the other one that I may actually buy and restock is Clair Obscure, because again, it's a very beautiful color story and one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes from Chanel. I also like Tissé Essentiel, but this was an eyeshadow palette that I was not really using a lot. So I'm going to skip on this one. I am going to be fine with these 5 eyeshadow palettes from Chanel. And as we're talking, I actually want to go ahead and show you swatches. So the first one, we have Tissé Vendôme, and as you can see, the colors have a little bit of sheen, so they are not. Next one on the swatches is Tissé Rivoli, my most repurchased eyeshadow palette. And finally, we have Tissé Cambon. I also saw that currently Chanel have restocked all of the BYZANCE eyeshadow palettes, and I am going to link to my videos, and they have been listed as new. So maybe they're going to make the BYZANCE eyeshadow palettes part of the permanent line, because it doesn't say limited edition. So maybe I believe that the BYZANCE collection from Chanel is maybe going to become part of the permanent collection of Chanel. I'm quite curious to see actually what they're going to do and what kind of colors they are going to add to their existing makeup line, because discontinuing 15 eyeshadow palettes, well, they maybe have something in mind. Time will show. We're going to see that the Tissé formula from Chanel has been my favorite for so many years, because the colors in the Tissé formula are not matte. They have a little bit of sheen, but it's such a beautiful, sophisticated sheen, and they blend beautifully on the eyelids. They are not too shimmery, not too glittery. No, they don't have, like, very few colors have some shimmery particles. Like Tissé Révolu, this color here has some tiny shimmery particles. You can probably see here on my arm, but these are so beautiful. It's a beautiful brown color with little copper shimmers, and you can probably see as I give you close-up of the swatches, but they look absolutely stunning on the eyelid. Please don't forget to check out the description box. I'm going to link some videos with really high quality swatches that I have made over the years, of Chanel videos that I have made over the years that might be useful to help you decide whether you need to add something to your collection or not. These videos are going to be helpful, I think. Let me know what is your favorite eyeshadow palette from Chanel, or what are your top 3 favorite eyeshadow palettes from Chanel. I can't wait to read your comments, and I can't wait to see what Chanel are going to release, because I'm sure that they have something big planned. If they're discontinuing their permanent collection, maybe they're going to give us more beautiful eyeshadow palettes. Let's hope so. And until next time, bye!